Nicotine doesn't relax you. It trains you to avoid discomfort. This is the lesson I learned after I got free from my own nicotine addiction. Now, I started vaping as a way to cope with a breakup. I was feeling shitty, I was feeling down on myself, and I remember sitting at a bar. My friend gave me a vape pen, I tried it, and I liked it. It had this nice menthol flavor to it, and after taking a few hits, I felt just a tiny bit better about my situation. So I started vaping. And as time went on, it became part of my routine. I was vaping when I had my morning coffee. I was vaping on my way to work. I was vaping whenever I had a few moments to myself with nothing else to do. And fast forward a few years, and not only was I vaping, but I was also doing these nicotine pouches. I was chewing nicotine gum. And this is when I realized that, oh shit, I'm addicted now. And the funny thing is that I was no longer using nicotine as a way to cope with some major life event. I had already gotten over my breakup. So now I was just using nicotine for the sake of nicotine. And I also noticed that my tolerance level for discomfort had lowered. Meaning that things that didn't even used to register to me as some kinds of inconveniences were now all of a sudden triggers to use nicotine. Whenever I had a mild confrontation with someone, I wanted to do nicotine. Whenever I was feeling slightly bored, a good time to do nicotine. Whenever I had stress in my life from work, I would get the urge to do nicotine. Maybe you have noticed something similar. Isn't it nice to go outside for a smoke or for a vape or put this nicotine pouch under your lip whenever you get agitated or whenever you get really excited? Nicotine goes along with everything once you get addicted to it. You might ask, what's the problem? Why shouldn't I use nicotine if I get slightly bored or have some inconvenience in my life? And the answer to that is twofold. First of all, you are training yourself to avoid emotions, even the mild inconveniences in your life. And the second part of that answer is that you are dependent on a substance, meaning that you are not really free to live your life how you want to live it. And in the end, it boils down to who you want to be as a person and what kind of life you want to live. Because if you value freedom, if you value self-leadership, and you really want to better your life, then every time you do nicotine, you are going against those values. Deep down inside, you know that you are going against yourself, and this starts eroding self-trust. This starts eroding your self-esteem. And this is the core issue with nicotine addiction when we look at it in a psychological way. Self-esteem basically runs your life. Every action, every thought, every emotion can be traced back to the concept you have about yourself, how you see yourself, how you live as a person. This is why it's so important that you protect it, and if it has been damaged already, that you start repairing it. I have written a whole guidebook about it. It's called The 4 Quadrants of Self-Esteem and Behavior. And essentially, it's a roadmap how to start repairing your self-esteem, creating positive loops in your life, and eventually get out of your addiction. There are 2 free chapters in the description.